we have this new course, Text and Context, which will be the second of a sequence of 4 EP seminars that all undergraduates will take. So the freshman seminar is now going to be an eloquentia perfecta seminar that's going to be a writing intensive seminar. And then there's going to be a level 3 EP seminar in the new core and a level 4. All of these so-called EP seminars in the new core are writing, speaking, and critical thinking intensive classes. I think this is a great feature of the new core and a great addition, and it spreads writing instruction across departments and over the 4 years. So most students will end up taking 2 EP courses in their freshman year, their freshman seminar and Text and Context. Because we have to teach every single freshman at Fordham Text and Context, there are going to be plenty of Fordham students who end up taking Text and Context as sophomores. The official description of the course. So the left-hand side of the PowerPoint slide shows you what's going to appear in the catalog copy. This was adopted at the department meeting on January 28th. An introduction to the literary analysis of texts and the cultural and historical context within which they are produced and read. The rest of the document, which is summarized over here on the right, is internal information for us as a department. So anyone teaching this has all been adopted officially. This is what we have as a department, what we know we're doing. And I want to highlight just a couple things about Text and Context. One is the fact that every course is going to have a subtitle, and that banner is going to be able to display that. So although we know that our students will be choosing our sections because they're at 10 o'clock on Tuesday and Friday, we can imagine that perhaps part of why they chose that section is because we're doing, you know, New York, Chicago, Paris, or whatever, right? So you can do whatever. That question of what makes a good context, what makes an appropriate context, is one of the questions that I think is on the table for today. 19 students, 20% of the class time devoted to student writing and oral expression. This course is writing and discussion intensive, and then we recommend that each student complete at least 20 pages of written work. Writing should be distributed over the course of the semester, right? So not a 20-page term paper. That's absolutely not what we envisioned, what the curriculum, what the committee envisioned as part of the mandate. When I was teaching the basic interdepartmental EP seminar, I broke it down into basic strategies for the 3 mandates of the course: writing, speaking, and critical thinking. In thinking about writing, I want to encourage you to think about sequencing your writing assignments, that is, breaking tasks into steps. And also think about responding to writing before the final draft stage. And in fact, I think it makes the burden of teaching a writing intensive course much lighter if you ask students to submit very, very tiny bits of writing and give them feedback. I mean, it's one of the best things that I do sometimes is go around the room and ask students what they're writing about. And just to say orally a sentence when they're working on a paper. And sometimes just that experience of having to articulate the fact that, you know, I want to write about Hamlet as a character, and then you come like, wow, you know, that's going to be tough to do in 3 pages by tomorrow, you know. So maybe we should narrow this down a little bit, you know. So you can just say that, and then, boy, you've solved a big problem that was going to be a D paper. Higher order versus lower order concerns, that is to say, distinguishing for yourself and articulating for your students that you're focusing on argument, that they must have an argument, that they must have a point, that there are 4 or 5 things that they absolutely must have that are important to you. And that the comma splice that you see is important to you but may not be a deal breaker in their paper, right? So it's not that those things aren't important, but that, you know, a perfectly punctuated paper that has nothing to say probably is not doing its job. The speaking piece is maybe a tiny bit more daunting. I don't think so, but one of the things that was interesting to me is we had a professor come teach a speaking seminar, and his understanding of the speaking component in EP was beautifully flexible and made it clear that we probably are all doing this already. That is to say, think about speaking as being both formal and informal. That is, speaking is not just having each of them line up like little ducks to give oral reports. Speaking is also, having a conversation in class, having a discussion. Speaking is going around the room and calling on people. Vary length, group size, and scope of speaking assignments, individual assignments, paired and group speaking assignments. So think really flexibly about what speaking is. There are two good ways that I want to talk about when we talk about context for encouraging critical thinking. And for my money right now and what I'm thinking about teaching, juxtaposing pairs of texts and encouraging better questions from our students are the best. I asked my comp students this fall what were their favorite 3 pre-draft exercises. What were the 3 pre-draft exercises they'd done that were most helpful to them? And I taught 2 sections of rhetoric and composition in the fall, and they were an honors section, an advanced section that was made of the students who were just below getting into the honors program, and a regular section that was a real mix of levels. And I got the same responses basically across the board. 3 things. One was asking them to write a paragraph that incorporated a quotation. It was so easy to grade, and it was really, really helpful. Just pick a quote that you know you want to use in your paper and embed it in a paragraph and integrate that quotation. It's super hard for them. They learned a lot from it. I solved a lot of problems quick before the draft came in. The second one was even better because I forgot I'd given them this assignment and I didn't check it, and they still felt really like they had benefited from it, which is I asked them to post 3 sentences about what they were going to write on, and then they had to respond assessing the merits of the idea on Blackboard. So they all responded to each other. And just writing that little 3-sentence prospectus and then answering twice, they thought that was amazing. And then the third one, I just had them write their argument for 20 minutes as a timed writing exercise in class. And they went home with, so we did a whole bunch of classwork, and then I just stopped the day and said, take out your notebook, you know what your thesis is, write for 20 minutes. And they felt tremendously helped by that. And think of all the lecturing about how to approach the draft I could have done in that time. I wouldn't have done anything for them.